Sneaky Tensoon.
Tensoon chapter! That's all I was excited about. I don't even care what he's doing as long as we're with Tensoon.
Yeah.
Smart Tensoon.
Very smart.
Stupid seconds.
Yes, very gullible seconds, probably.
Yeah. I'm totally expecting it to work.
Yeah, me too. Shall we get straight into it then?
Yes, let's do it.
Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. For this particular series, I am joined by my wonderful co-host, that darn Kitad.
Dorkus and I are both going into the story completely new with almost no knowledge of the story or world. Each segment will cover what happens in each new chapter while discussing our experience along the way.
This is The Hero of Ages. It's all in the pages, a blind read-through. And today we are covering Chapter 20.
Chapter 20.
Oh gosh, how many times, Kitty, will I say let's get started and then come in with, but wait, actually first.
Actually, first what?
So, first off, do we think that the Kelsier of last chapter was ruin or preservation?
Preservation, I would hope.
Between ruin and preservation, although revenge strikes me as slightly ruinous, granting allomancy strikes me more as preservation.
Yeah, it's because allomancy is to do with preservation. Like it's from preservation, right? We've spoken about that. But then again, yeah, revenge is quite ruinous. And I could understand if it was ruin because there's some insanity, or like not insanity. There's some weakness in Spook that you can exploit and turn him bad, if you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
So if that's the plan and that's why we save Spook as ruin, that makes sense. But yeah, granting allomancy, that sounds preservation-y.
Right. Then the other realization was if Kelsier can return, or rather the form of Kelsier can return, so too can the form of Tindwyl, and therefore I call Sazed having a conversation with Tindwyl, Bunny Ears Tindwyl, at some point in this book.
I hope so. I really hope so. I want that. He needs that for closure.
Put it in the prediction log.
I shall. Let me move around. To the prediction log. Just hold up. We can find it. We haven't used it in a while.
Right?
Hello. My mouse does not want to predict anything.
Oh no. But we've got to make it official. Yeah,
we have to. Tindwyl returns for conversation with Sunset.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, those were my two elevator thoughts from last chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any?
Me? Have thoughts? No.
You laughed so genuinely, like the idea of you thinking was so ridiculous.
Yes. But I was really appreciative of you asking. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course.
I'll let you know. I'll try and have one next time.
Great.
This week.
Cool. More than one person reported feeling a sapient hatred in the mists. This is not necessarily related to the mists killing people. For most, even those it struck down, the mists seemed merely a weather phenomenon, no more sapient or vengeful than a terrible disease. Okay.
Interesting. Yeah, and just fun fact, my book says sentient instead of sapient, and I prefer sapient. They're interchangeable, clearly, but yeah.
Sure. That said, we've had this reinforced to us, particularly through Alendi's journal. I don't necessarily know that there's anything more we can glean from the Alendi connection, at least not at this point. It's just something to keep in mind, I think.
That there is something that maybe it's prefacing something that, okay, we're going to have some other explanation of what the mist does, whatever. So yeah, we've got that basically reiterated. The word sapient is used, I think, on purpose in to remind us of the what's it, the logbook.
Right. I did just have a thought while you were speaking, as I tend to do. The
Yes.
word vengeful, no more sapient or vengeful than a terrible disease. And we did just have a conversation about how ruin seems more vengeful than preservation.
Yeah.
So if there is a hateful, vengeful sapience or sentience, well, I guess it's likely ruin in essence, possibly.
Yeah, in essence, I would say, like, yeah, if there's no vengeful character when the mists are even killing you, it's just okay. It's doing what it does. That's more preservation, because we've spoken about, okay, this could be preservation doing something that actually saves everyone. The inoculation, essentially, whatever it's doing, making mistborn, that kind of thing. Yeah, I would say you can do horrific things in the name of preservation. So this doesn't confirm anything. It just tells us, yeah, there's more questions. Yay.
Yeah. For some few, however, there was more. Those it favored, it swirled around. Those it was hostile to, it pulled away from. Some felt peace within it, others hatred. It all came down to Ruin's subtle touch and how much one responded to his promptings. You know what? It may have been this epigraph that had me wondering about what Spook saw last chapter.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I think the mist used to swirl away from Vin, right?
Sometimes it seemed to embrace her and she was happy about it. And then it did seem to change and actually start going away from her. I think it was that when using allomancy, it kind of swirls or is attracted to you. But now it's the other way around. I'm not sure.
I
Also, by the way, okay, wait, go have your thought and then I'll keep on.
sure. I was just gonna say, well, is it possible that humans are of both ruin and preservation, possibly with inclinations toward one or the other, and perhaps Vin either bounces between the two or leans more heavily toward the preservation side, and that it could explain why she's a uniquely talented Mistborn, is because Mistborn-ness, allomancy, is of preservation type of a thing.
Yeah, I would expect it to be that humans are of ruin and preservation. That would be a more poignant, more true statement, to be making with the book. I think that would actually be really, really good mythologically, that there are these two opposing forces. I'm sure you understand what that means, Wheel of Time stuff. So that you kind of need both of them, but you need them in balance. They're not in balance currently. I don't know. That's a good one. A good way to look at it. What I wanted to add was, from the way that this is written, because I've been on this It's Vin train. Vin would refer to this a little bit differently. She's the author here is not saying it wasn't hostile to me, I embraced it, like that sort of thing. It was like for those it favored, it swirled around. Look, technically this doesn't have to be, it could still be Vin, but this is a point away from it because it's talking in generalities rather than, or I noticed that myself that the mists were behaving strangely.
Interesting. Yeah, my money's
Yeah.
still on Saw's head.
Some felt peace within it, others felt hatred. Like, that is why I say that instead of I felt peace with it and I felt hatred. So, like, yeah, this is the one where I'm like, okay, we're away from Vin.
Interesting.
Also, yeah, it came down to Ruin's subtle touch and how much one responded to his promptings. How prompt? What do you mean by prompting?
Well,
Like, is it
we have Zane
his?
as a
Yeah.
possible indicator of that, but we know that Zane had a metal spike in it, and many don't.
And that seems to be how Ruin communicates with the Inquisitors.
All of that said, though, I think it's in this chapter, maybe not, but the blessings of presence, etc., that the Khandra have are via metal rods. right? Which we know the Kolos also have metal rods. And so I'm wondering, like, do
I didn't know there
Allomancers...
were metal rods in Kandra.
Didn't Tensoon think in this chapter that he kept Orosur's blessings or something to that
Yes,
effect?
I just didn't. Yeah, I just didn't think that they were took the form of metal. Maybe it's
Um,
something in your edition that makes them metal, but to me it was. I know that there are objects that you could bring, like because that's what the girl says, but I didn't think of them as metal. But that would make sense.
I'm looking ahead in the chapter to find to see if I can find the specific passage because it's going to bother me now.
Yeah, I don't know if you just made the educated guess that it would take the form of metal.
I might have. Orosur, he had the blessing of potency. You must have inherited it when you killed him, but they didn't find it on your body when they took you. So what did you do with it? Can I fetch it for you? Bring it so that you can fight? I will not fight my own people, Milan. Okay, yeah, I guess I just kind of assumed it was metal, and I assumed it was Mistborny powers.
Hmm.
Blessing of potency being pewter, blessing of presence being tin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
So,
makes a lot of sense. I think you were just too smart for your own good.
rarely ever said about me, or
Mm-hmm.
said too frequently.
It should be said more then.
Thank you, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that was clearly a thought I had, which made me wonder if perhaps the snappening is these blessing rods being inserted into people in some way. But I feel like the humans would know about that then, and they don't. But it's certainly conceivable that Spook had a rod inserted into him. But
Mm-hmm.
except for the fact that the shadow creature Kelsier thing didn't actually touch him and therefore likely couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably not the case. We know that Elend ate the metal ball that gave him allomancy.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much. I feel like the picture is fuzzy, but it's getting clearer, but still fuzzy, you know?
It could go, yeah, it's still fuzzy enough that it could go either way. You're seeing two different shapes, and you're like, what does
Yeah.
this mean? But your last comment on the his promptings is just that does it have to be conscious voicing, like like an actual voice, or is it just like the temptation of going towards ruin? Like the more
Hmm.
tendency towards something that is ruinous versus something preservation. So a more moral thing that I'm thinking of.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I totally got sidetracked on that thought, by the way. We know so anyway, we knew Zane had the metal spike, which made him hear ruin, but that wouldn't necessarily
Mm.
be applicable to Joe Schmo the Ska type person out
Mm-hmm.
there,
Yeah.
which I think then speaks to, as you were saying, sort of a general in life when you make choices, do you tend to make healthy decisions or
Mm-hmm.
not so healthy decisions kind of a thing? Personality type led by perhaps subtle influences.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we get into the chapter actually this time now?
Mm-hmm.
Tensoon sat in his cage. The cage's very existence was an insult. Khandra were not like humans. Even if he were not imprisoned, Tensoon would not have run or tried to escape. He had come willingly to his fate. Good boy, Tensoon.
Yeah, look at you, Tensoon, but I don't know if this is the right time to be a good boy.
Honor culture is strong amongst the Khandra, it
Mm-hmm.
seems.
Yeah.
But we already knew that.
But yeah, they have insulted him using this cage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yet they locked him up. He wasn't sure where they had gotten the cage. It certainly wasn't something Khandra normally would need. Still, the seconds had found it and erected it in one of the main caverns of the homeland. It was made of iron plates and hard steel bars, with a strong wire mesh stretched across all four faces to keep him from reducing his body to base muscles and wriggling through. Another insult. Dangerous.
When did they put this up? Maybe they've now started this as a normal thing. You just didn't know. This is now a thing that they do. But I don't know. I think
Or the seconds are planning some sketchy things.
yeah, they're like, you're just the first, you know?
Yeah. Ten soon sat in the cage, naked on the cold iron floor. Had he accomplished anything other than his own condemnation? Had his words in the trust warrant been of any value at all? Outside the bars, the caverns glowed with the light of cultivated mosses, and Khandra went about their duties. Many paused to study him. This was the purpose of the long delay between his judgment and sentencing. The second generationers didn't need weeks to ponder what they were going to do to him. But since he had forced them to let him speak his mind, the seconds wanted to make certain he was properly punished. They put him on display like some human in the stocks. In all the history of the Khandra people, no other had ever been treated in such a way. His name would be a byword of shame for centuries.
Damn.
Yeah, maybe that's an indicator that folks might want to at least hear what he has to say.
Maybe within
Nah.
the seconds, like maybe there's somebody that's like trying to subtly just be like, no, maybe yeah, let it, just giving the idea to let it extend this whole process so that he has a chance to exact some sort of change, or they're just really making a huge example of him. It's all about scaring everybody else off and discrediting him through subjecting him to just crazy shame. I think just the whole
Mm-hmm.
explanation of this has never happened, this is unprecedented. So yeah, that's also making me go, I earlier thought about them maybe doing this more often. He's just the first.
Yeah.
If anybody steps out of line, this is what's going to happen to them. If
Yep.
it can happen to him, this third generation guy that's so ancient, can happen to you.
It may also suggest the second generation knows that the end of the world is near, and they are so determined not to do anything about it that
Mm-hmm.
they have to go completely overkill to prevent anyone else. I mean,
Yeah.
it pretty much outright states that here.
Mm.
But we won't last centuries, he thought angrily. That was what my speech was all about. He hadn't given it very well. Yeah, could have
Pretty
been a
good.
bit better.
He didn't have much time, but he got all
Yeah,
the information across.
yeah. How could he explain to the people what he felt? That their traditions were coming to a focus, that their lives, which had been stable for so long, were in drastic need of change. What happened above? Did Vin go to the Well of Ascension? Oh, by the way, the glowing moss part was very cool flavor. Loved it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What of ruin and preservation? The gods of the Khandra people were at war again, and the only ones who knew of them were pretending that nothing was happening. I really get his frustration,
Yeah.
but also, does this mean they didn't consider the Lord Ruler a god if ruin and preservation are their gods?
Yes, I was like, hold on, yeah. The gods of the Khandra people. It's like, wait, of the Khandra people. So what were they? I thought they were created by the Lord Ruler.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, okay, that's Father. This is just a different form of God or whatever, but they are gods. It's like, but how did they learn about these gods then if they were created by the Lord Ruler? Did the Lord Ruler say there is ruin and there is preservation and like give them that knowledge?
I don't know. I want to know.
That, yeah,
I
because I'm
mean,
like, yeah,
there's
making
a
sense.
possibility that the Lord Ruler sort of refined how he envisioned the final empire to be. So the earliest generations, maybe Rashak shared all with them,
Mm-hmm.
particularly if they were intended to be preservers and guardians of
Mm.
humanity in some sort of way. And because the Khandra, generally speaking, don't die, Rashek just kind of never uh, got around to
Never
killing them to
changed
make
it.
new. Yeah, yeah. He was just like, okay, whatever.
We learn it takes a very long time to create them anyway,
Yeah,
to create new ones.
yeah. As he sat, the Khandra lived their lives. Some trained the members of the newer generations. He could see elevenths moving along, little more than blobs with some glistening bones. The transformation from Mistwraith to Kandra was a difficult one. Once given a blessing, the Mistwraith would lose most of its instincts as it gained sapience, and would have to relearn how to form muscles and bodies. It was a process that took many, many years. Adorable!
Blobs. Yeah. Blobs and glistening bones. Cute.
So
they're the Kandras.
Other adult Kandra went about food preparation. They would stew a mixture of algae and fungi in stone pits, not unlike the ones in which Tensoon would spend eternity. Despite his former hatred of humankind, he had always found the opportunity to enjoy outside food, particularly aged meat, a very tempting consolation for going out on a contract. Now he barely had enough to drink, let alone eat.
Yeah. I don't know. Not spoiled meat, not happy with that, but I guess biltong is better than moss. So
Probably.
Agreed.
And here's the first mention of his fate in a pit. And
for eternity.
Yeah, and we've read the rest of the chapter. This isn't a blind. So we know essentially that Tensoon is going to try and trick the seconds into giving him his dog body back, yeah?
Yeah.
And I think the supposition or the expectation here is that the seconds will underestimate how agile those bones are, and he will hopefully be able to jump out of the pit and escape. Yeah?
Yeah.
I think that's the plan.
Something along. The point is the dog bones are going to lead to his escape in some manner.
Yeah. He sighed, staring through the bars at the vast cavern. The caves of the homeland were enormous, far too large for the Kandra to fill. But that was what many of his people liked about them. After spending years in a contract, serving a master's whims often for decades at a time, a place that offered the option of solitude was precious. Solitude, Tensoon thought. I'll have plenty of that soon enough. Contemplating an eternity in prison made him a little less annoyed with those who came to gawk at him. They would be the last of his people he ever saw. He recognized many of them, so we're really getting the sense of how communal the Kandra are, how few of them there are, how familial they are.
And how he is so condemned that, like, and he seems so resigned to it. He's just like, yeah, these are the last people that I'm gonna see. Cool. Like, he's very resigned to just, okay, I'm gonna be by myself, and okay, and eternity. Just wow. Like, there's something so crazy about an eternity in prison. Like, you don't even have the relief of death.
Yeah. The fourths and fifths came to spit at the ground before him, showing their devotion to the seconds. The sixths and the sevenths, who made up the bulk of the contract fillers, came to pity him and shake their heads at a friend fallen. The eighths and ninths came out of curiosity, amazed that one so aged could have fallen so far. And then he saw a familiar face amid the watching groups. Tensoon turned away, ashamed as Milan approached, pain showing in those overly large eyes of hers.
Tensoon.
Her whisper soon came. Go away, Milan, he said quietly, his back to the bars, which only let him look out at another group of Kandra, watching him from across the room.
Tensoon.
You need not see me like this, Milan. Please, go. It's so melodramatic, but not in a bad way.
Yeah, and I don't know, I want them to be dramatic. This is a dramatic situation.
Yeah?
They shouldn't be able to do this to you,
she said, and he could hear the anger in her voice.
You're nearly as old as they, and far more wise.
They are the second generation. They are chosen by those of the first. They lead us.
They don't have to lead us.
Milan, he said, finally turning toward her. Most of the gawkers stayed at a distance, as if Tensoon's crime were a disease they could catch. Milan crouched alone next to his cage, her true body of spindly wooden bones making her look unnaturally slim.
Cool. Sorry.
Pretty. Faye.
Yes. You could challenge them,
Milan said quietly. And at that, I'm like, oh, there's a process to take control away from them?
No, yes, you were thinking, okay, well, no, there's the vote. You can put it to the vote and whatever. But also this is really paying off just from the earlier thoughts that he has had of this Condra and how some rebellious she is. She's like, yeah, cool. You can challenge them. Come on, get it together.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. She could just be referring to like you could join the resistance as opposed to some sort of formal I challenge you to a duel for
Yeah,
leadership type of a thing.
yeah. That's where I thought it was going.
Smart Kite. What do you think we are? Humans with their rebellions and upheavals? We are Khandra. We are of preservation. We follow order.
Which, sorry, that's just order and chaos. Woo!
Yeah.
That made me happy. But yeah, this is the time for upheaval, Tensoon. But anyway,
I mean, if you truly believe what you said at the judgment, yes, this is the time for upheaval.
exactly. It's like he's really caught in his ways here. He's caught in, oh, this is what Khandra are, you know. So it's like, but you can't stay in this current mold and expect change. This is not how you exact change. You're not going to do it. You're just going to be put down by the system.
Precisely.
So we've got the rebel Milan here. You still bow before them
Milan hissed, pressing her thin face against the bars.
after what you said, with what is happening above.
Tensoon paused. Above?
You are right, Tensoon. Ash cloaks the land in a mantle of black. The mists come during the day, killing both crops and people. Men march to war. Ruin has returned.
Tensoon closed his eyes. They will do something. The first generation.
They are old, forgetful, impotent.
And possibly non existent anymore due to the second generation.
Exactly, true. They're so old and forgetful and impotent that they don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're onto something there, Milan. Just a little bit further.
Yeah. Tensoon opened his eyes. You have changed much. She smiled.
Liar. She's just sorry. I'm like no. She's already. You know, she was rebellious. She's just been more herself, I suppose. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. She smiled.
They should never have given children of a new generation to be raised by a third. There are many of us, the younger ones, who would fight. The seconds can't rule forever. What can we do, Tensoon? How can we help you?
Oh, child, he thought. You think they don't know about you? That was also a thought.
Yeah, that was all I thought. So it's like, oh no, does he think of her as a child? I wanted romance.
Yep. I mean, it can still be there. I'm still getting romance vibes.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, time is very weird for these beings,
Yeah.
guys. Relax.
What's a couple hundred years when you can live for basically ever?
Yes. I don't know. I think we're just too romantic. We just want everyone to be in love.
Yeah.
Like, we're shippers over here.
Something I've learned about doing this and Way of Kings and now Wheel of Time is I ship a lot more than I ever thought I did or would.
It's not too bad. I think we have it under control, guys. I think.
Those of the second generation were not fools. They might be lazy, but they were old and crafty. Tensoon understood this, for he knew each of them quite well. They would have Khandra listening, waiting to see what was said at his cage. A Khandra of the fourth or fifth generation who had the blessing of awareness could stand a distance away and still hear every word. So I think that's what unlocked the, these blessings are just allomantic powers idea.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Awareness would be 10, potency would, like you said, would be pewter. What does he have? He has presence.
Presence, yeah.
What is presence? Is that the emotional elemency?
That might be, yeah. Maybe it could be like the blue lines, seeing where metal is, but that might not make full sense with the context it was used before.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. But I guess that it's suitably vague. That's the point that they want. This is now just opening it up. So we're like, okay, what would the rest of the blessings be? Come on, let us know. And you get a blessing. When you get a blessing, you become a Kandra. So otherwise you're just a Mist Wraith. And we now know as well, or we will know through later paragraphs here, that you can take a blessing from someone once they're dead. I think I think that involves death. It has to be death.
Yeah.
I don't think you can just take it from a living Kandra.
I agree completely. But it's like, how do you do that? If it's not the metal spike, I can't even imagine.
That's obvious to me. I think it's not a huge metal spike. Maybe it's like a little
A rod like a small rod like the Kolos have, maybe.
Yeah. I would expect that.
Tensoon was Kandra. He had returned to receive his punishment because that was what was right. It was more than honor, more than contract. It was who he was. Yet if the things Milan had said were true, Ruin has returned. Yes, he
How
has.
can you just Yes, he has. And so, like, great. You're so honorable and whatever. You're so honorable that you don't try to save the world. That's not very honorable, Tensoon. That's self-indulgent. That's like that kind of self-indulgent honor sort of thing that people are accusing Dalinar of. So it's like you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we go a bit too far where it's all about you, then it becomes actually quite selfish when it's about your honor and nothing else.
Yeah.
How can you just sit there? You're stronger than they are, Tensoon.
Tensoon shook his head. I broke contract, Milan.
For a higher good.
At least I convinced her. He thinks to himself, and the question is, did he convince her, or is it crush-based convincing? Or is it crush-based belief?
Crush-based growth. It happens, okay? And then look what happened to Vin, okay?
Mm-hmm.
She really grew, so it can work.
Yeah.
Is it true, Tensoon?
She asked very quietly. What?
Orasur, he had the blessing of potency. You must have inherited it when you killed him. Yet they didn't find it on your body when they took you. So what did you do with it? Can I fetch it for you? Bring it so that you can fight?
So we more or less discussed earlier what this could mean.
Mm-hmm.
I did just have a horrible thought.
Mm-hmm.
I will counter the thought by saying I think the firsts have been missing for a significantly long time, like more than the 2 years it took since to get to this point from the beginning of Mistborn, or however long.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if these blessings are metal rods, essentially hemalurgy, granted to the Kandra, you are introducing a bit of ruin into the Kandra, which are of preservation. What if the firsts are essentially the inquisitors of the Kandra people, right? They have too many blessings, and because they are of preservation, Ruin has a difficult time controlling them, but he has enough control to just kind of make them sit and not move or speak or anything.
I see how it makes sense, but I don't think so. It just doesn't. I'm of the belief that they are of preservation. It might not be. It might not be metal rods that actually do this. We don't know. So, and also we know that hemalurgy and allomancy, and just all of the magics are related to metals. Okay, so we can have a preservation, a metal preservation, and a metal ruin. So it doesn't actually that doesn't indicate whether it's preservation or ruin.
True.
Yeah. Now we're getting into really deep philosophical, maybe answers that everyone will have, revelations that everyone will have about the world, where it's like actually everyone is of ruin and of preservation. There's no one. It's not just humans that are of both. And hemalurgy seems to be of ruin. Sorry, just the way the format. But yeah.
Yeah. Let's put hemalurgy away for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't think the hemalurgy thing just goes with Kandra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will not fight my own people, Milan.
Someone must lead us.
That statement was true, but it wasn't Tensoon's right. Nor was it really the right of the second generation, or even the first generation. It was the right of the one who had created them. That one was dead, but another had taken his place. Well, that's your opinion.
Yeah, that is your that's your opinion. It's like, no, maybe we're just free now.
Or that.
And we can govern ourselves and yeah.
Milan was silent for a time, still kneeling by his cage. Perhaps she waited for him to offer encouragement or to become the leader she sought. He didn't speak.
So you just came to die.
To explain what I've discovered, what I've felt.
And then what? You come, proclaim dread news, then leave us to solve the problems on our own.
Milan is spitting facts here.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what do you... Oh, I'm just doing the honorable thing. It's like, oh, okay, and now? Thank you. Go, Milan.
You're completely absolved of having to fix the problem since you told someone else about the problem. That's not how it
Yes.
works, Tensu.
It's not my problem, okay? That's not my job. He's saying, literally, when he's saying it's not his right to rule. So it's like, okay, well, yeah, it's not my right, so I can't say. Sorry. Yeah, and okay, so your rulers have decided that actually you're going to die, and you're honor bound to not rebel against them. Then, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not only are your people going to die, the whole world.
Yeah.
But you're honor bound, so you got to listen. Sorry.
Yep. That's not fair, Milan. I came to be the best Kondra I know how to be.
Then fight.
He shook his head.
It's true then. The others of my generation, they said that you were broken by the last master of yours, that man Zane.
He did not break me.
Oh? And why did you return to the homeland in that body you were using?
The dog's bones? Those weren't given to me by Zane, but by Vin.
So she broke you.
How
She
dare
broke you in a different way. She broke you in a different way. She broke you of your hatred
Freed
for
him.
men. Yeah, she freed you. She actually had a relationship, a friendship with you. So yeah, she broke him free of things. Thank you very much. But, what should Milan know about that?
True. Besides, you're sitting there in a wooden body, judging dog bones. How dare you, Milan?
Yeah, how dare you? So cute. He's good boy Tensoon. You have not seen him good boying.
True. Tensoon exhaled quietly. How could he explain? On one hand, it seemed ironic to him that Milan, who intentionally wore a true body that was inhuman, would find his use of a dog's body so distasteful. Yet he could understand. It had taken him quite some time to appreciate the advantages of those bones. He hesitated. Idea
Yes, he's
sparked?
thinking. Yeah, so is it just that he's not been looking for ideas? He's just like, no, this is my fate. But now it's like, wait, there's actually a chance. Maybe I'll think about it a little bit. So, but yeah, so it's Milan. Okay, Milan has made him think
Yes.
of ways. So go her.
Yes. But no, he had not come to bring revolution. He had come to explain, to serve the interests of his people. He would do that by accepting his punishment as a Kondra should. And yet...
I was like, no, sorry, you can't leave it at that.
Yep. And yet, there was a chance, a slim one. He wasn't certain whether he wanted to escape, but if there was an opportunity... And now he's thinking about escaping and going to Vin probably to explain the situation to her. And frankly, he should bring Milan with. And yes, do that.
Bring Milan and all her fellow rebellious young'uns.
Yeah, leave the seconds, but bring the ones that do actually want a leader. Because look, honestly, if Tensoon there just said, yes, okay, I will be your leader. We're going to Vin. They're gonna be going to Vin anyway, so...
Yeah.
Those bones I wore, Tensoon found himself saying. You know where they are? Milan frowned.
No. Why would you want them?
Tensoon shook his head again. I don't. he said, choosing his words carefully. They were disgraceful. I was made to wear them for months, forced into the humiliating role of a dog. I would have discarded them, but I had no corpse to ingest and take, so I had to return here wearing that horrid body. Oh, yeah, we see what you're doing there, Tensoon.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, good point. But obviously she doesn't know.
Yep.
You're avoiding the real issue, Tensoon.
There is no real issue, Milan, he said, turning away from her. Whether or not his plan worked, he didn't want the seconds punishing her for associating with him. Good boy, Tensoon.
Mm-hmm.
I will not rebel against my people. Please, if you truly wish to help me, then let me be. Milan hissed quietly, and he heard her stand.
You were once the greatest of us.
Tensoon sighed as she left. No, Milan, I was never great. Until recently, I was the most orthodox of my generation, a conservative distinguished solely by my hatred of humans. Now I've become the greatest criminal in the history of our people, but I did so mostly by accident. That isn't greatness, that's just foolishness. End chapter.
Yeah. End chapter. That's cope, Tensoon. Oh, it was all by accident. Nah. You learnt things and changed by accident. Oopsie poopsie. Just accept it, okay? You're a badass and you're gonna have a crazy fight escape scene, and I need you to survive this whole book. Thank you very much.
Yes, please. Please, Tensoon, survive and escape and
Mm-hmm.
go to Vin and bring your rebellious Khandra with you.
True.
Oh gosh. And think how useful an army of Khandra will be.
Exactly. And just they know stuff. Okay, this is the revolution now. We tell people things. We share. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, but Ruin can. Oh, Ruin knows. What does Ruin know? Can Ruin see what's happening with the Khandra? Maybe there's some sort of cloaking blessing that they have. Not
Yep.
blessing with a B.
I don't know. Anything else to say, Kitty?
Like the video!
If you like. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week. Subscribe to that Darn Kita if you get a chance, because she's got a great channel.
Subscribe to this channel, because it's a great channel. You know it. You're here.
It would be tremendously appreciated. And we'll see you next time. Okay, thanks, bye.